medicines, but uh, uh, but there one of the things is that any of these kinds of diseases, any modern diseases, is an everyday challenge, because diseases descriptions, tests have to be contextualized in the descriptions what has been practiced 5,000 years back. And clearly gaps are evident, that as Dr. Anurag mentioned, enormous amount of inter-individual variability, which then poses a challenge, that how do you predict response before exposure to virus or host response, or when the disease happens, or how do you also predict how the person is going to get the treatment. On the other hand, if we talk about Ayurveda, whose recommendations are also available, how do you make an informed choice between the two? Or could you have an integrative approach where you can avail both of them? That increases the management options, right? And also, as is evident, in COVID scenario itself, the timelines are impossible, and that's why we need really innovative approaches to tackle these problems, and especially the problems like the COVID. So 20 years back, when precision medicine was very much in its infancy, in IGIB, we initiated this project, which was anticipated that even genomic sequences are going to be made available from across the population. We might need to understand better ways of how to have a prevention, how to give meaning to what is health, etc. So that's when we started this Ayurgenomics initiative. Primarily, it was sourced from that Ayurveda has been practicing such a kind of a medicine, which was nearly for 5,000 years, or dates back, meaning at least the documentation dates back to that time. And what all was envisaged in P4 medicine actually seemed to resonate with what the principles are described in Ayurveda. For example, and the for example, the understanding of individuality in terms of Prakriti, what Dr. Kotecha mentioned, that Ayurveda has very interesting description of people in terms of their constitution.
Very good evening, friends.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to another superb evening of the series of panel discussions on the genomic wellness revolution in India. I'm Dr. Usha Nair, a certified nutrigenomic wellness consultant, 20 plus years in healthcare, and associated with Welocity Genetics and Velocity Booster for a little over 3 years now, helping change people's lives. And today precisely, I'm very happy to have a lot of new people here joining in. I know this one session really adds a lot of value to everybody. And yes, of course, we are so excited because we have a totally new panelist today, a veteran and air commodore, retired, and he's not just a general physician but also a senior consultant of rehabilitation medicine. So a very warm welcome, good evening to Dr. HSR Arora. He's been my senior, he's been my guide, he's been my mentor, and we are all seriously friends. Very privileged to have him here today evening. Well, once I say that, of course, we also have our own CMD of Welocity Genetics, Mr. Stan Serrao, to add on to whatever we miss on explaining to you and help us see the future of genetics and nutrigenomics and so many other allied sciences. We will come in detail on that. Well, we will have one more panelist along. We are expecting Mr. Terry Valentine to join. But in the meantime, friends, there are a lot of us here, and I will request for a few things. Please always keep your mic on mute unless you want to say something and you're given an opportunity to talk. Ideally, during the panel discussion, refrain from putting anything in the chat box, because then you might miss on hearing something which will help you change your life. And most important, you will be given an opportunity. So if you have questions, you can raise your hands, and when asked, you can quickly put your questions in the chat during the end, as time permits, during the question and answer session. So very warm welcome to all of you once again. I really look forward to this session and enhancing lot of knowledge and learnings to you, so you can go out in the marketplace, in the communities you live in, and make a big difference in the lives of others. Well, to begin with, we had a wonderful video which was a panel discussion and a detailed seminar by the Ministry of Ayush involving Ayur Genomics. So we already know, we are already aware in all the past panel discussions how the company started, why we started, and what is it that motivated Mr. Stan Serrao to get into it. But Stan sir, if I can ask you, there is a field which is called as epigenetics. So before I come to Dr. Arora and have his views on it, what is it that is the significance of epigenetics with reference to the programs we have on wellness with nutrigenomics?
Okay, so good evening, everybody, and a special warm welcome and greetings to veteran Dr. H.S. Arora, who's with us. Thank you for being a part of this webinar, and good evening to each and every one of you. I feel that people who matter are here, who really believe in the benefits of genetics and different dimensions of genetics. So they're all here. So a warm welcome to you on behalf of Welocity Genetics. So to answer your question, Dr. Usha, when we are talking about genetics, we see in all the videos and all the sessions that we have started, it all started with plant genetics, because every living organism has genetic makeup, and I'm sure Dr. Arora will speak about it. So it started with Gregor Mundell about plant genetics, but later, it was logically rolled on to human genetics, and they understood that human genetics, cracking it and unlocking the genetic code is very important to understand the human physiology, anatomy, and especially better healthcare, because to prevent diseases, you need to understand and diagnose the root cause. But with a lot of development, there are different aspects of genetics that we're today talking. The first, of course, is epigenetics. Now, I want to say this, that this webinar is not a technical scientific webinar, but we are putting a little in very layman language, ताकि यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं वो आसानी से इसको समझ सकते हैं. And I'll also try to speak a little in Hindi and English both. So epigenetics का मतलब ये हुआ कि आपका जो जीनोम या जेनेटिक मेकअप है, उसमें बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो इम्पैक्ट करती हैं, जो they are not internally changing, they are not modifications of your genome or the mutations per se. So there are a lot of external factors. Epi is a word in English which we always talk about, epicenter, epitome. So epi is at the top. So apart from the genetics which is there inside the body, there are so many other things. उसके अलावा भी बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो impact करती हैं. So it could be your environment, fundamentally. So the environment would include what? First of all, the food and nutrition that we're eating, which we are taking externally, from taking inside the body. We also the kind of water that we are using, and today waterborne diseases are causing deaths in millions. And then there was a report last week from the WHO about the millions of deaths, that 7 million deaths are happening as far as the contaminated air pollution is concerned. So there is a lot of concern about that as well. So then we are all today not moving out in the hot sun, or so with which we are, the vitamin D synthesization also is less. So there are so many things that are external to our body. So the science of understanding how all these factors make an impact on a human genome is broadly epigenetics, and that's something that everybody is very keen and interested in understanding. The reason is that today everybody says that most of the diseases are lifestyle induced and lifestyle oriented, because our lifestyle has completely changed. Gone are those days where we would wake up at 5:36, and have a breakfast and then do our routine work. Today people are probably waking up and then having a lunch all straight away. So there's no concept of breakfast for many people, and the sleeping patterns have completely been altered. So epigenetics deals into a lot of lifestyle related issues, and we're talking about stress, which is so much present in everybody's life, because pandemic has only I would say uh, extended that degree of stress that people already had. So all these factors come under a broad study of epigenetics, and I would invite people who would like to study more to enroll into various courses that we are offering. So there's one course that's right now happening, which is called the certificate course in nutrigenomics. Though the name is nutrigenomics, we are also studying teaching epigenetics in one section. And in this batch, we have around 28 students from different parts of India. There's one lady from Mexico, a Mexican citizen, and also somebody from Nepal. So I'm sure we'll expand later to different sections also. And yeah, so epigenetics is a very interesting subject, and I'm sure people will take a lot of interest in understanding the subject for their own welfare and healthier life.
Well, thank you, Stan sir. Adding on to that, Arora sir has said, all systems of medicine should combine together for a holistic wellness. तो अरोरा सर आपसे ये पूछती हूँ कि we just spoke about epigenetics being on top, being seen. So why all why all beings are alive on earth? Why is earth livable? What is the fundamental of life on earth? If we can start right from that, the superficial thing.
Yeah, it's a very interesting system altogether. We never thought about it, why we are living. Having worked with NASA and seeing those rocks from moon and seeing a inactive form of microlife in those rocks. So it means life is possible in all the planets. But at present, in this galaxy of where this existing sun is there, only Earth has got a life form. If you permit me, I've got one or a few slides which will be very interesting for everyone to note. Can you permit?
Yes, sure. You are a co-host, so you can actually...
You can share slides, sir.
Share screen. And,
सर जी थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बात कीजिए. We have
Yeah,
few
I'll do
people
that.
who don't really understand too much of English. Yes, sir. We can see your screen. You want to make it full screen?
Yeah, I'll just make it into a full screen.
Yes.
This is some other slides have come. Just a minute. Can you see this?
सर स्टॉप शेयर करके दोबारा शेयर स्क्रीन कीजिए.
Slideshow. Can you see this?
No, sir, not yet.
So just click on the screen share at the bottom of the page. Share the screen.
Okay, I think that is it.
सर कोई नहीं आप बता दीजिए and
Now I will just say a few words
Yes.
about it.
yes.
Up till now, the entire healthcare industry of different fields were thinking life is on this earth is basically connected with air, earth, sky, water, and fire. We have been always discussing about these things. But we have forgotten one aspect, which is the core issue of life on this universe. is basically bioelectromagnetism and geoelectromagnetism. What is bio, which is found in our human bodies, all the living plants, your insects, your animals, your marine life, your subsoil level life, and human being as such. Geoelectromagnetism is called what is found in electromagnetism of the earth. The geo and bioelectromagnetism are same. There is no difference. If there was a difference, probably this life form would have come on this planet. So it is a very beautiful system in the earth. This electromagnetism get formed basically due to tectonic movements of the earth, due to molten lavas in the central core. So, and there are flares from the sun. So when geoelectromagnetism gets activated, it prevents excessive flare from the sun, and it gets converted into bioelectromagnetism, and the human body can survive. Our genes are there, our cells are there, every system, you name, everybody, it is functioning on those lines. If I ask, मैं लोगों से अगर पूछूं bioelectromagnetism क्या है, it is nothing but electric and magnetic induction inside the body, जिसको धार्मिक या रिलीजियस भाषा में हम हिंदू लोग बोलते आत्मा. मैं इसलिए इस चीज को बता रहा हूँ, 73 में रशिया में गया था मैं आर्मी की तरफ से. मैं एक बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट पे बात कर रहा था, काम कर रहा था रशियंस के साथ में. They wanted to capture this atma and analyze it. So we went there. We were 3 of us. They put a person who was almost dying inside a glass globe, which was a bulletproof. You can fire any bullet, it will not rupture. Moment they withdraw the life support from that person, he had given in writing he doesn't want to live further, so I am available for testing and all. When they withdraw the life support, after 7 to 10 minutes, the whole globe got fractured into small fragments, and the person was dead. No one was prepared for this kind of an activity will take place. Russians wanted to capture that electromagnetism and then subsequently carry out the research. But this whole test got failed there. But later on, I came to know after 5-6 years they did that. And they were able to capture that bioelectromagnetism, what we call it as a Atma. They did its analysis. They used it in multiple purposes. Then I rang them up once. They said it's a very, very serious and confidential issue. You cannot be told about it. So that is what I missed out on that. But I never left out. I should continue to work on that. When bioelectromagnetism in the body, you do not get in a correct dosing, your body systems start going down. And you will be surprised, brain is the organ where bioelectromagnetism stays for 4 hours even after death. This was a work done by scientists in UK almost 3 years back. It came as a news article also, and it was very interesting. And at present, if we look into this size, wellness organization has got a huge responsibility. What all happens into the genes due to that? Why the diseases are occurring? Why there is a lifestyle-related diseases, what we call it, is causing problems. But there is a huge role, I call it, even a person getting infected with virus, bacteria, it's all related directly with the impact on our genetic system. So that's what I wish to say. So bioelectromagnetism and geoelectromagnetism is same thing. Now I would add on one aspect into this. Why geoelectromagnetism enter into living things? No one tests about this aspect. there is something known as the crystals of magnetites, which are found in almost all the living beings. If the quantum of that is measured, you can even tell how long this person is going to live in this world. Then there is a glutathiones. Then there is a seleniums. Then vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. All these things, if we measure, we can always predict the life of a person and what is going to happen about the disease if he's suffering from that. So that is the beauty of both geo and bioelectromagnetism. When, if we compare this geoelectromagnetism with the magnetism which is found on Moon, Mars, or almost all the planets around the Sun, it is million times higher than this. Can you imagine? I don't know how. If I slide it, cannot I? It's not getting reflected. If I show you that, person get fragmented into small pieces. One of the very interesting, when I was working for 3 to 4 months with the NASA, they never disclosed it to anyone. Once they had taken a dog to the moon, they released it on the moon surface. Moment it was released, his covering was removed. He was fractured into small pieces. It means the quantum of electromagnetism on these planets are massive. Before I proceed ahead, I would like to share with to everyone a very interesting thing.
Sir, you were talking about life existing here and with so much of energy around, which is so much useful and getting converted into bioenergies and affecting, and we are living. So why then, in today's times, do we see that Earth is sort of becoming sick? The lifespan of people is getting lower and reducing. When everything natural is existing, then what is the uh, reason for the fall, deterioration?
If you look at let me, if you look at the quantum of bioelectromagnetism or geoelectromagnetism, it is from 30 to 300 microtesla. It is a measurement of that, or 6 to 60 megahertz electromagnetism. Now what is happening, this is a very healthy type of electromagnetism. If we look at around us, the technologies have grown up like anything. You look at the mobiles are there, laptops are there, your tablets are there, your televisions are there. Every house has got an electrical lining, your refrigerator, microwaves. When they are getting operational, they produce a huge amount of low intensity electromagnetism, which is higher than the bioelectromagnetism. It enters in our body and plays a merry hand. Start affecting the cellular function, start affecting the function of the DNAs and RNAs, genes and chromosomes. Cell membranes are getting disrupted. Your hormonal secretions are getting compromised. So there is a scores of issues which are developing due to when this electromagnetism enters inside our body.
So that I can correlate as what we were discussing about epigenetics, the environment around us, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So then, what are the basic functions of genes, and how do they then perform?
Genes has got a very interesting functions to play.
हिंदी में थोड़ा सा सर.
अच्छा सॉरी हमारे जो जेनेटिक सिस्टम है वो प्री डिजाइंड है उसके द्वारा हमारे शरीर में प्रोटीन की संरचना होती है. जिस प्रोटीन जो है वो बेसिक है हमारे शरीर का, और प्रोटीन्स के द्वारा, जो जीन्स के द्वारा प्रोटीन्स की संरचना होती है, उससे हमारी शक्ल, सूरत, कलर, बालों का रंग, वो सब डिसाइड होता है। एंड सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है हमारे जेनेटिक सिस्टम में, वो दो हैं, हम कैसे जीवित रहें और कैसे रिप्रोड्यूस करें। ये दो मेगा एंड मेन फंक्शंस है हमारे जेनेटिक सिस्टम। इसके अलावा हमारा जो डीएनए और आरएनए सिस्टम है हमारे बॉडी के अंदर, हर एक सेल में न्यूक्लियस होता है, न्यूक्लियस के अंदर ये सिस्टम एग्जिस्ट करता है। ये हमारा जेनेटिक सिस्टम ही नहीं, हेरिडिटरी का डिसाइड करता है, इम्यूनोलॉजिकल फंक्शन के बारे में डिसाइड करता है, बॉडी के जो डिफरेंट पार्ट्स हैं, चाहे हार्ट ले लीजिए, ब्रेन ले लीजिए, किडनी, लिवर, मसल्स, बोन्स, वो क्या फंक्शन करेंगे, कैसे फंक्शन करेंगे, आप हैरान हो जाएंगे कि आपका एक एक मूवमेंट और हर एक शरीर का जो है, एक सेलुलर लेवल का हर एक काम, इट इज ऑलरेडी प्री रिटन इन अवर जेनेटिक सिस्टम। तो उसके हिसाब से ही वो चलता है। पूरे शरीर में जो एंजाइम्स, बायोकेमिकल और बायोलॉजिकल केमिकल रिएक्शंस होते हैं, अगर आप उसका नंबर सुनेंगे तो आप हैरान हो जाएंगे। वो 43 into 6 ट्रिलियंस एंजाइमिक एक्शंस पर सेकंड होते हैं। अब इतना जबरदस्त जो एक्शंस कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म है जेनेटिक सिस्टम के अंदर, वो वाकई में एक हैरान करने वाली चीज है। सो इसके अलावा जेनेटिक सिस्टम का और भी बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग फंक्शंस होते हैं। एक तो हर एक इंसान की मैस्कुलिनिटी को वो डिसाइड करता है, जो उसकी शरीर की संरचना कैसे होगी, कैसा दिखने लगेगा। इसके अलावा उसका इंटेलिजेंसिया, उसकी सिमेट्री, फिर उसके अलावा फिजिकल स्ट्रक्चर, उसका अट्रैक्टिवनेस, उसकी मस्कुलैरिटी कैसी हो। आप हैरान हो जाओगे, हर एक बच्चे के अंदर जो उसके पेरेंट्स के थ्रू जेनेटिक सिस्टम आता है, उसमें मदर की तरफ से मेगा पार्ट रहता है। सबसे ज्यादा जेनेटिक सिस्टम पास जो होता है वो मदर की तरफ से पास होता है। सबसे हैरानी वाली बात है, हर एक सेल में जो माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया है, जिसके ऊपर हमारा एनर्जी सिस्टम फंक्शन करता है, जिस अगर माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया खत्म हो जाए तो हम लोग एक लॉक की तरह गिर जाएंगे। वो सिर्फ वुमन के थ्रू ही हर एक बच्चे में पास होता है, मेल के थ्रू पास नहीं होता। सो इट हैज गॉट अ वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग फंक्शंस टू परफॉर्म। हम लोग ये डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि हम लोग कितना जिएंगे। हमारे क्रोमोसोम्स के अंदर एक होता है टेलोमरेज, उसके अंदर जो डॉटिंग है, उससे आपका लाइफ स्पैन पता लगता है। उसको आजकल इंजीनियरिंग जेनेटिक सिस्टम से, जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम के द्वारा चेंज किया जा सकता है। रशियंस आर सक्सेसफुल इन, इवन यूएस people are successful, and I think Velocity organization, when they do an analysis of genetic system in the body, if they look, अगर वो telomerase का analysis करें तो ये possible है कि उसको बढ़ाया जा सकता है। बढ़ाया जा सकता है का मतलब, अब ये जितने functions मैंने बोले हैं, अगर मैं रेफरेंस देख रहा था, हमारे जो चारों वेद हैं उनके अंदर भी यही रेफरेंस है, मगर वो सारा संस्कृत में था, मैं वो लिख के बोल नहीं सकता था, मगर ये एक सच्चाई है। तो एक इशू है जो मैं आप सबको शेयर करना चाहता हूं। एक बहुत पुरानी पुस्तक के अंदर मैंने इसको पढ़ा। वो पता क्या बोलता है, वो पुस्तक सन 1800 में एक सज्जन पुरुष ने लिखी थी। उस पुस्तक के अंदर बोलता है कि हम लोग अपने जेनेटिक सिस्टम को एडिट कर सकते हैं, जो कि एक बहुत हैरानी वाली बात है। तो वो कहता है कि एडिट कर सकते हैं, तो ये कोई प्रेशियस चीज नहीं रह गई। जब एडिट किया जा सकता है तो इसको बदला भी जा सकता है। सो आई ऑलवेज फील वेलनेस अपना Velocity organization can be a great support in this kind of a function. After analysis, हम अगर genes का analysis करते हैं, उसमें से as a bits हम लोग genes chromosomes को निकाल सकते हैं, उसमें डाल सकते हैं, and we can rewrite the whole genetic code of a human body. So it means genetic manipulation जो है वो इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम से पॉसिबल है. अब आप मेरे से पूछेंगे कि ये थॉट क्यों है. ये थॉट इसलिए है, कभी ना कभी तो ये वक्त रहा होगा कि इस ह्यूमन लाइफ फॉर्म को किसी ने क्रिएट किया होगा जेनेटिक सिस्टम बना के. तो अगर किसी ने बनाया तो आजकल की जो लाइफ फॉर्म है ये बन गई. हम लोग क्या इसको दोबारा रिक्रिएट कर सकते हैं कि नहीं? वो बोलते हैं कि ये एक तरीके से गिफ्ट थी उस वक्त से आज के वक्त के अंदर. हम लोग जेनेटिक सिस्टम ऑफ ह्यूमंस, एनिमल लाइफ, बर्ड लाइफ, एवियन लाइफ, मरीन लाइफ के जीन्स को बोरो करके वी कैन रीस्ट्रक्चर न्यू काइंड ऑफ ए life form. It is possible. So that is what, when I read that, I thought I must speak about this. Now we can always think on these points in a different manner. From organization like Velocity, nowadays you will be surprised, large number of male and female, they are not able to produce a child because due to high electromagnetism which is surrounding all of us, the sperms का function 59% reduce हो चुका है. ओवम जो ओवरी में होता है उसका भी फंक्शन 40% रिड्यूस हो चुका है. पुराने वक्त में IVF, इन विट्रो फर्टिलाइजेशन का कोई सिस्टम हम लोगों ने नहीं सुना. अभी पूरे सिटीज के अंदर IVF लेबोरेटरीज की भरमार हो गई है. तो अगर बिफोर मैरिज जो भी लड़का या लड़की है उसका जेनेटिक सिस्टम का एनालिसिस किया जाए, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट ओनली द मैरिज शुड बी सोलमनाइज्ड. दिस इज अ थॉट प्रोसेस. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि इट विल बी जस्ट लाइक दैट इम्प्लीमेंटेड, बट it's a thought process. Lot of people, different caste and creed, they marry in same blood relation, and end result is lot of genetic diseases are getting passed on to the next generation, and which are considered to be bad in a scenario. So this was the thought process, so I said I must share it with you.
सर तो अभी एग्जैक्टली बताइए कि when we talk about genes and we talk about good health, then we also talk about diseases. So DNA ऐसा क्या रोल प्ले करता है in diseases?
DNA का बहुत बड़ा रोल है एक्चुअली हर एक डिजीज के अंदर. एंड होता क्या है, जब भी कोई बाहर की फॉरेन प्रोटीन हमारे शरीर में घुसती है, चाहे वो वायरस हो, चाहे बैक्टीरियाज हो, चाहे पैरासाइट्स हो, चाहे फंगस हो, so our immune system fight it out with that. Up to cellular level, there RNAs and DNA. So there all these things go into replication, they grow further, they cause mutation into the genetic system or into the RNAs or DNA. There is a change. So they are becoming foreign to us only. But they basically strengthen our immune system in a big way. If our DNAs are good and there is no hereditary transmission of diseases, then they can fight it out well with any other foreign protein which is entering inside, or due to environment degradation or changes, if any cell inside the body is changing and is in a position to cause diseases or cancers, so our DNAs can fight it out with that and make it stop. Our anti-cancer cells are there, our natural killer cells are there, our immunoglobulins are there inside the body, T cell, our B cells, they all are existing. Your monocyte, your macrophages, they all get stimulated by the genetic system and they fight against the disease. But if there is a issue related with the protein which is not getting destroyed, the diseases are bound to take place. So, how do you make our genes strong? We need to have a healthy life. We need to avoid this pollution of different kinds. We need to, you will be surprised, we all say eat green vegetables, have a good food. Now there is a GMO food is coming, genetically modified food. Genetically, those vegetables or fruits have been created. So many years, donkey's years have passed, we have been eating particular type of which our genes recognize that. When a genetically modified food is taken or products are eaten, our genes do not recognize them. The end result is there is a fight goes inside. That fight will result into destruction of both sides and there is a disease occurrence will take place. So it is an important thing. We need to strengthen whatever functions of the genes are there. We need to strengthen those. Like muscularity, we need to strengthen our muscles. That information exists inside the genes. It will pass on to the muscles. My dear, get strength and get stronger. So like this, if we start acting on those issues, I am very hopeful the diseases may not affect in this manner the way it is now occurring.
Thank you so much, sir. Understanding of biology, understanding of genes, diseases. Now I think I will come to Stan sir and I will ask for solutions. सर हम ये जीन प्रोफाइलिंग करते हैं, जेनेटिक टेस्टिंग करते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं एंड वी अंडरस्टूड क्वाइट अ लॉट फ्रॉम डॉक्टर अरोरा टुडे व्हाट इट मैटर्स, हाउ इट मैटर्स. तो आप मुझे ये बताइए कि अपना जो साइंस ऑफ न्यूट्रीजेनोमिक्स है, how that will matter for us to strengthen or stay healthy, the points that Arora sir touched upon.
Yeah, I think Dr. Arora shared a wide range of topics and that are quite of interest. Right from, there are fundamentally, we believe there are three things as far as genetics is concerned. The first one is how do you read the genetic information that is there? पढ़ सकते हैं कि there are sophisticated machines and technologies with which कि आपके शरीर में क्या genetic makeup है, आपके यहाँ genetic क्या risk factors है, ये आप पढ़ सकते हैं. So पढ़ना, genetics को पढ़ना, that's the first thing. The second thing is gene editing. और gene editing अभी भी बहुत development stage में है और gene editing करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, इसके ऊपर काफी ethical बहस चल रही है पूरी दुनिया में. Because जीन्स की जो लैंग्वेज है उसको भगवान की भाषा बोलते हैं, because nobody knows who created that, because my DNA has come from my father and mother and same way their genetic information उनके father mother से आई हुए हैं और ये अगर कितने पुश्तों से आया है ये अगर पता करेंगे तो it's like billions of years of history. तो वो किसने create किया पता नहीं है, तो अभी that's where science and probably religion comes together. तो इसके लिए उसको जेनेटिक्स को बोलते हैं, डीएनए का जो ATCG जो है, जो स्ट्रक्चर है, इसको भगवान की भाषा बोलते हैं. तो डू वी एज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, irrespective of our religion, there is a belief that almighty superpower God is almighty God is the superpower. तो उनको सुपरसीड करने की क्षमता या करना हमको चाहिए क्या? So there are ethical issues, and of course we see that Chinese geneticist जिन्होंने genetic engineer उन्होंने जो डिजाइनर बेबीज जो क्रिएट किए हैं, दे आर अराउंड 2.5 years old now, तो उसके ऊपर काफी बहस भी हो रही है, लीगल सैंक्शन भी हुए हैं, he has gone underground and all that. The third aspect, of course, is called the genetic engineering, or through a technology called gene drive. So that also is like very elite class, and I'm sure veterans like Dr. Arora will be able to relate because they are involved with a lot of scientific research work. But अगर एक आम आदमी मतलब एक साधारण व्यक्ति के नजरिए से हम लोग जब जेनेटिक्स को देखते हैं, like all our vehicles, all our electronic gadgets run either on electricity or some kind of fuel. Hamari body also runs on certain kind of fuel that is derived from the nutrition. And we fundamentally believe that food be thy medicine. Because if you really look at the sequence, कि अगर किस क्रम में हमको हमारे शरीर को we have to take care of it, मेडिसिन बाद में आता है, पहले खाना आता है, फूड आता है. फॉर अ स्मॉल बेबी देयर इज अ mother's milk is given because that has all the immune building blocks and all the nutrients that the small infant baby requires. And then at various stages of our life, एक बच्चे को जो देने वाला जो न्यूट्रिशन है is much different than a gym going youth, than maybe a pregnant lady, than a middle-aged person, or maybe a woman who is having a menopause, and then of course a elderly woman. तो मतलब अपनी एज के हिसाब से हमारे शरीर की रिक्वायरमेंट्स बदल जाती है. तो ये अगर हमको साइंस नहीं पता है कि मेरे शरीर के लिए सबसे पहले क्या न्यूट्रिशन चाहिए और क्या एज में क्या न्यूट्रिशन मुझे अधिक प्रमाण में चाहिए या कम प्रमाण में चाहिए, और मेरे क्या फूड इनटॉलरेंसेस है मेरे जेनेटिक म्यूटेशंस के हिसाब से, स्ट्रक्चर के हिसाब से, और उसके बाद में जो एपिजेनेटिक्स और बहुत सारे एनवायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स से जो भी जो स्निप्स आते हैं या मतलब म्यूटेशंस होते हैं, या मतलब जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में हम लोग बोल सकते हैं कि भाई स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स होते हैं, तो उसके हिसाब से व्हाट आर द करेक्शंस दैट आई नीड टू मेक इन द फूड हैबिट्स. See, that is something that we need to address. और ये न्यूट्रीजेनोमिक्स बहुत अच्छी तरीके से साइंटिफिकली इसको एड्रेस करता है. एक तो हम लोग जेनेटिक्स कब देखते हैं, जेनेटिक लेवल पे क्या, हेरिडिटरी लेवल पे क्या इंटॉलरेंसेस हम लोग क्या हैं, व्हाट आर द रिस्क फैक्टर्स फॉर वेरियस डिसीजेस, एंड क्लब विद दैट आवर लाइफस्टाइल टुडे. So whenever our counselors do the counseling of a client, they not only go by the genetic report, but they also ask कि भाई आपकी रूटीन क्या है, आप क्या खाना खाते हैं, आर यू व्हाट आर योर फूड हैबिट. तो ये दोनों को क्लब करके when we really understand the art of eating food in a very scientific way, I think half of our health conditions can be addressed, and the reason or the causes of diseases will be eliminated. Now apart from nutrigenomics, आपने मुझे सवाल पूछा था सबसे पहले epigenetics का, then we are now talking about nutrigenomics. But there is also another very interesting subject which is now emerging, and I'm sure India will latch on to it very fast. बहुत जल्दी इसका प्रचार हो जाएगा, and that is pharmacogenomics. Right now everybody is saying that कुछ भी अगर हो जाए बोलते ठीक है मुझे डॉक्टर से पूछने दो, डॉक्टर दवा दे देंगे, ठीक हो जाएगा. So we are to an extent over dependent on the medicinal system. While Dr. Arora made a very interesting remark while the video was going on, saying all disciplines of medicine should come together, they should join hands, because सबका प्रयास यही है कि भाई क्लाइंट के लिए राहत दे, उनको सॉल्यूशंस दे दे. उसके लिए कि भाई मेरी साइंस अच्छा है, आपका बेकार है करके ये जो मतलब अभी हम लोगों ने देखा पिछले साल तो पूरा मतलब सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक पूरा मामला गया है, झगड़ा कर रहे हैं वो, that doesn't make much of a sense. I think liberal doctors will honestly look at, apart from the medicine and surgeries and other things that the modern modern healthcare sector is using very effectively, I think we need to also consider a lot of other integrated medicines. And even within the small group that is attending this webinar, I know people who are involved with various kinds of therapies, whether it's nutrition, alternative therapy. There are so many things that are involved. So at the end of the day, it's the same human body, and it's all interrelated. So as Dr. Arora mentioned, geoelectromagnetism or bioelectromagnetism, these are all things that are present, we need to also take into consideration those aspects. So when our counseling happens, we not only look at a plain genetic insights that we get, but we are also looking at other aspects, and using all this technology together, we give customized and personal recommendations देते हैं, जिससे कि उनको without going into complicated medical procedures and quite heavy doses of various steroids and other chemical laden medicine, which sometimes the body is not able to cope up with. I think this is exactly what we are doing. So we're going by the philosophy of the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates. तो उन्होंने ये कहा है, let food be thy medicine. पहले आपका खाना ही आपका मेडिसिन बने, तो आपकी आधी बीमारी खत्म हो जाएगी, बीमारी आएगी भी. And अगर आ भी जाएगी, then you understand as to what are the nutrition that you are not taking correctly, and then make alteration or customize changes in your nutrition so that you will be able to address some of the diseases. Now, just want to say a last sentence before I ask you to proceed, is that America में the causes of death का जो survey होता है, उसमें the data says that the first and the number one killer is the cardiac arrest or the heart related diseases. But the second one is ADR, which is adverse drug reactions. That precisely means that every drug we take is going to target the main cause, but it also causing a lot of side effects, which the medical world very humbly accepts. But at the same time, we need to look at that even the wrong medication and wrong food can cause. Apart from the wrong medication, even the wrong foods also can cause a lot of problems. So that's why we say कि एक का जो खाना जो एक के लिए अमृत है, वो दूसरे के लिए तेजाब या poison हो सकता है. So we need to have that customization, and even the video that we played in the beginning, इसमें गवर्नमेंट आयुष का डिपार्टमेंट ये कहता है अभी कि पहले ऐसा था कि भाई हेल्थ मतलब कि भाई मेडिसिन ट्रीटमेंट ही जहन में था, लेकिन अब वो सोच बदल गई है. It has to be prevention, it has to be prediction based on a lot of factors. So your lifestyle management, your food habits, your diet, nutrition, your stress levels, all this comes into picture, and then genetics addresses all that beautifully through nutrigenomics, through epigenetics, through pharmacogenomics. And in our DNA testing program, we not only have diets and other lifestyle related phenotypes, but we also have pharmacogenomics. Yesterday I was speaking to Dr. Nikhil, and he's here in the Zoom webinar. So he's been saying that pharmacogenomics now is so important that the medical world needs to understand that administering a wrong dosage, forget about the medicine, even the dosage can impact negatively, and there could be a lot of internal problems that can have. So this is time now for us to pick this up, and ये जो एक मुहिम हम लोगों ने चलाई है, we need to now involve not just the health conscious individuals and the families, but also the medical fraternity who are practicing in various disciplines. So we need to go there and we need to propagate. So Welocity के जो genomic wellness consultants हैं and जो certified wellness consultants हैं, जो 2 महीने का हम लोग जो कोर्स देते हैं, they need to be the messenger of this change. And I'm not saying that we are going to transform India, well, but I think we can contribute and we can begin, and I think we definitely can make an impact.
Well, if I can come back to Dr. Arora sir, you have been a mainstream healthcare provider, directly connected, and what do you see? We had a very casual discussion earlier today saying that almost सब जगह पे genetic testing होता है, but how do you see कि pharmacogenomics कहाँ तक हमें पूरी तरह से healthy करने के लिए मदद करेगा, because we have so many in allopathy we have so many choices of medicines. First choice of medicine for diabetics is metformin, then you have statins and you have warfarins. तो ऐसा specific बीमारी को specific लिखा हुआ है, तो ये acceptance कितना जल्दी या कितना आसानी से आएगा?
ये सब्जेक्ट जो है बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग और इम्पोर्टेंट और नेसेसिटी है इसकी. मैं अपना ही एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करने जा रहा हूँ. मैं नागालैंड के अंदर था, तो एक मिलिट्री मिशन में करके हम लोग वापस आए, तो उस दिन मेरा ब्लड प्रेशर बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया. हॉस्पिटल में गए तो वहाँ के डॉक्टर ने मेरे को इंडरॉल इंजेक्शन जो होता है, जिसको बीटा ब्लॉकर्स बोलते हैं, वो इंजेक्ट किया। इंजेक्ट करते ही 3 मिनट के अंदर my lungs went into bronchospasm of acute nature. I could not breathe. So then I asked him कि आपने इंडरॉल इंजेक्शन दिया है? कहता यस। मैंने कहा पूछ लिया था मेरे से, क्योंकि किसी वक्त में बीटा ब्लॉकर मेरे को ब्लड प्रेशर के लिए एडवाइस किया गया था, मगर लेने के बाद मेरे को रेस्पिरेटरी प्रॉब्लम खड़ी हो गई थी। तो कहने का मकसद ये है कि बहुत सारी मेडिसिन जो हैं, अभी जैसे एस्प्रिन बेस्ड मेडिसिन है, कई पेशेंट्स के लिए, जैसे हार्ट केसेस के लिए बहुत अच्छी है, मगर बहुत से ऐसे पेशेंट हैं उसको देने के बाद उनको प्रॉब्लम खड़ी हो जाती है। एंटीबायोटिक्स हैं। सो फार्माकोजेनेटिक्स इज गोइंग टू प्ले ए वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इफ दिस, अगर ये सिस्टम मेगा लेवल पे लेके चला जाए, तो मैं जो जहां तक समझता हूं, हर एक ड्रग का एक मिनी पैच होना चाहिए। जब कोई भी दवाई आपने प्रिस्क्राइब की है, उसका पैच लगाओ, आपको इंस्टेंट उसका रिजल्ट नजर आ जाएगा। पता लगेगा कि ये आदमी या पेशेंट को ये रिएक्ट करेगी या बेनिफिट करेगी। ये सिस्टम हमारे फार्मा इंडस्ट्री के अंदर भी आना चाहिए। हर एक मेडिसिन का जो कैच कवर है, या टैबलेट फॉर्म में या लिक्विड फॉर्म में, उसके साथ ये स्मॉल डॉट पैचेस अवेलेबल होने चाहिए, जिसको आप लगाओ, या फिर हमारे जेनेटिक सिस्टम में असेसमेंट करने का तरीका होना चाहिए। लाइक वेलोसिटी, वी शुड बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई कि इन माय बॉडी my DNAs, which has got a main role of immunogenicity, will it accept or not? And moment it is that it is not going to accept, so it is going to do a mega damage to the human body. Not only it will aggravate the disease, but it will create some other disease also. So I am 100% for it. In a due course of time, this science will come in a big way.
Thank you, sir. Stan, sir, we were actually talking right in the beginning with the webinar video that we saw about Ayush Genomics, and we have a wonderful range of Ayush approved wellness products with us. So, can you touch upon how that helps, or how that got started with us?
I think after epigenetics, after nutrigenomics, and after pharmacogenomics, I think we definitely will do injustice अगर हम लोगों ने आयुर्वेद के बारे में नहीं बात की तो. So आयुर्वेद इंडिया का ancient science है. The Ministry of Ayush has now got really proactive after COVID-19, and that they're pumping in a lot of money for a lot of research, so that there is clinical evidence to all the herbs and other naturotherapy, things that people are consuming and claiming to be getting well and having results. But the allopathic world might just question it, saying that भाई आपके पास research का clinical evidence किधर है? So they are trying to create that data, which earlier was there only in the scriptures. Ayurveda के scripture में था. I mean, people were passing on this information from one generation to the other, and there are traditional vaidyas and ये जो doctors होते थे अपना गाँवों में. So now we need to definitely make it a little more organized. So that's why Ayurveda is getting a lot of limelight. I think COVID-19 में आपने देखा lockdown के दौरान Ayush has been very proactive in recommending people various prescriptive herbs and everything. A lot of Ayurvedic based businesses have emerged. A lot of factories have been coming up. People are now engaging in distributing a lot of wellness products, herbs. With in combination of everything, that's where integrated medicine is something that we need to really looking at. So Ayurgenomics basically works on the same principle that कि आयुर्वेद में जो प्रकृति ऑफ योर बॉडी, जो 3 दोषास जो हैं, वाता, पित्ता और कफा, तो उसके ऊपर आपको बहुत सारा वैद्यास प्रिस्क्रिप्शन देते हैं कि भाई आपको ये खाना चाहिए, नहीं खाना चाहिए. तो इवन न्यूट्रिजोनॉमिक्स प्रिसाइसली सेज द सेम थिंग, because based on your genetic makeup and your food intolerances and so many other factors, there will be a personalized customization then that will be done in terms of your food habits and आपके lifestyle में. ये हम लोग देते हैं suggestions and recommendations. So in our action plan, आपको जो action plan आएगा आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि भाई ये almost similar है, but of course your genetic also is almost 99.9% almost same like anybody. But even that one intolerance, one allergy or one genetic risk factor can make a lot of difference in you experiencing healthy things. So you got to be very minutely looking into this report. So इसमें because now we are consuming, जैसे last time लोगों ने ये बोला था कि भाई आपको हल्दी ज्यादा यूज करना चाहिए, तो लोगों को ऐसा लगा कि भाई मुझे कोरोना आना ही नहीं चाहिए, तो हल्दी के अलावा कुछ खाया ही नहीं, उनको बाद में चाले पड़ गए, and then they had some other side effects also. What precisely means, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि anything in excess is either an addiction or a poison. So you have to have everything in balance. अब ये balance कौन तय करेगा? To a great extent, your genetic makeup will be able to determine as to what are your requirements of your body and what are the things that you need to avoid. So that's where we need to do the Velocity Genetics का जो DNA testing program है, उसके तहत right now we are doing around 210 different phenotypes. So we understand what is your genotype, and वो genotype के हिसाब से we understand as to what are you allergic to, what do you don't really agree with, आपको क्या अवॉइड कर देना चाहिए, क्या ज्यादा कर देना चाहिए. ये कस्टमाइजेशन होता है. मतलब आपको जो आपके जो कपड़े सिला रहे हैं वो एकदम आपका मेजरमेंट लेके सिला रहा है. ऐसा नहीं कि भाई आपने कुछ भी पहन लिया और आपको एक बार अच्छा लगा, बट देन आपको बहुत जल्दी थोड़ा डिस्कम्फर्ट लगेगा. So it's a customization that's coming in, and Ayurgenomics is now very progressive field, and you saw the government is taking a lot of initiative to bring in all that ancient wisdom into the modern technology and modern wisdom, and इसको दोनों को मिला के I think we are going to have a very exciting and wonderful approach to the health. And in the video if you also saw, even the Ayush के जो head हैं वो बोलते हैं कि having this approach to the health is beneficial to the exchequer of the government. The amount of money that we can save by avoiding all these procedures and medical expenses, so that people will have more money to spend, and they would spend where it's required. People would rather spend money on nutrition rather than spend on medicine and then get sick and then treat lifelong. So ये हमको करना है, and I think we have started this mission, and I'm sure like-minded people are getting in to this forum, and I'm sure we'll try to make it as strong as possible. So I think it's 9:05. So what I want to tell you is, just to summarize everything, it's really very nice to have Dr. Arora giving a different perspective of human life, and what are the factors जो हमारे well-being के लिए matter करते हैं, and how important genetic data today is. So India में, भारत में अगर देखेंगे 2012, a few genetics companies, especially either in clinical genetics, who were addressing cancer-related patient, and then nutrigenomics came in, and in the last 7-8 years, whatever information we've been able to collect, the number of samples, saliva samples that we have collected are very minuscule. मतलब इंडिया के 138 crores का population की अगर हम लोग बात करते हैं, I think we must have done around 5 to 10 lakh samples maximum, which is negligible. तो एक तरफ हम देख सकते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा scope है, because everybody wants to get well, and we have had this experience in the last few days that we've been talking to some people related to Ayurveda. Everybody is jumping onto them by saying कि हमको ये ऐसा कुछ science है पता भी नहीं था. They're totally unaware. So there's a lot of interest that is being created, and Velocity Genetics का we could have done another presentation of what we are doing, but ये हम लोग panel discussion इसके लिए कर रहे हैं, so that every panel discussion में you will understand the importance. जब आपको जरूरत समझ में आ जाएगी, इसकी health benefit क्या समझ में आ जाएगी, तो exactly हम लोग क्या Velocity Genetics में करते हैं वो समझना बहुत आसान है, because it's just a matter of understanding. You're just going through some slides and then understanding why genetics is required, and what are we exactly doing, and what are the benefits that you get. And as we know, this is like one-time spending that you need to do to have a lifelong grip on your health. So that's a wonderful investment. So they say the best investment is on yourself, on upgrading yourself, both in terms of your knowledge, your personality, your skills, but also your health, because you might have extraordinary skills, but you have a poor health, they probably will not be of much use. So that's what I want to say. And I'm sure, I think we are really excited about the genetics that we are doing a wonderful initiative. People have started appreciating. And though it was lockdown, I think we've kept our flag, flying high with a lot of webinars. So, and a lot of people have supported us. So, iske liye, I would really sincerely appreciate all our, wellness, genomic wellness consultants and certified genomic wellness consultants to go out there and educate people. Educate ka seeds up, education ke seeds up karoge, go karoge, and I'm sure you will get the fruits of it. It's just a matter of time. So that's all we have, I guess, for this. I think, Dr. Usha, also, you need to move to another meeting, I'm aware. So I would like to, on behalf of Velocity Genetics and Velocity Booster, would like to thank Dr. H.S. Arora. He's a veteran, he's a retired Air Commodore, and he's done wonderful work in the field of research and science. So we don't really have much time for a lot of questions, but I think we will meet with another new speaker and with a new topic and with new questions and new discussions next week on Monday at 8 o'clock. So if you've got any questions, you probably could keep them for the next week. So once again, thank you, Dr. Arora, for your wonderful insights. Thank you, Dr. Usha, for being an anchor and managing to ask some very interesting questions. And thank you, each and every one of you. Enjoy your evening. Have a great week ahead. I'll see you on Wednesday for another webinar at 8 o'clock. And for genetics, we'll have another webinar at 8 o'clock on next Monday. Thank you very much. Goodbye and good night.